Good evening. My name is Mike, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Commercial Finding and Winning New Business conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. Periodically throughout the call, lines will be opened in order for you to ask questions. If you should need assistance during the call, press *0 on your telephone keypad, and an operator will come back online to assist you. Thank you. I will now turn the call over to the Manager of Commercial, Jenny Spahn. You may begin your conference.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, Rod, can you put it through to my first slide for me? Great. So that's not in the way. So some of you might have been in the commercial session yesterday, so you're going to get a little bit of a repeat intro here. But who in here is part of the Commercial by Royal LePage program? Excellent. It's a bigger percentage, I think, than yesterday. So that's great. So for those of you that aren't, we obviously wanted to make sure that we covered off what is Commercial by Royal LePage before we get started today. So it is why Commercial by Royal LePage. It's an exclusive dedicated network. So we do have some residential agents on the program in some of the smaller markets, but it's really people that, agents that are focused on commercial for a significant portion of their business, if not all of it. We have specific qualification criteria to be part of this network around education, transaction history, and years of experience. We provide marketing resources to everyone on the program as well. So we've developed a new brand. You can see our logo at the bottom here for Commercial by Royal LePage. We have program marketing that you can use to recruit within your offices, if you're a manager or broker owner, and we also have practitioner marketing. So we've got signage. We have, new business cards. If you've met me, all my business cards I got done in the new commercial templates are, I think, very attractive, professional-looking, new PowerPoint templates. Basically, a lot of the stuff that existed before in the marketing center online for residential agents, we've come up with a new brand and look and feel specifically dedicated to our commercial agents. We also have a separate and distinct website, RoyalLePageCommercial.com. This pulls all of your ICX listings automatically. You can put buyer ads on there, as well as exclusive listings if you want. And we have networking opportunities as well. So if you are on the program, hopefully you're also part of my LinkedIn group that I manage. It's great. It's actually a closed group. It's not like, some of the other ones, Royal LePage Canada even. You get a lot of spam and trying to sell to you on that. This is really developed for you as agents who are focusing on commercial to connect with one another. And I encourage you to do that. I'm always trying to find interesting articles to share with everybody on there. Keep in mind, I'm not the commercial expert all of you are, so I always encourage you to help contribute if you have anything you think might be of interest, if you want to share information on a listing that you have coming up. And that's kind of one of the core things of the program that agents are excited about, I think, is being able to connect with their colleagues within Royal LePage from coast to coast. Next slide, please, Rod. Okay, so how has the program progressed? So we launched the program back in April. So after we sold our commercial division to Cushman Wakefield, we had it on compete for a while, and then there was interest from commercial agents to come back out and have an offering to them across Canada. So we launched Commercial by Royal LePage on April 2nd. At that time, we had an amazing 160 agents already registered, which exceeded our expectations, and we were really excited about that. In the week after launch, we had over 10 million media impressions around our new program. And since then, we've had continued growth. We've actually grown by 50%, and I'm hoping by the end of this month, we'll be up to 250 agents across the country on the program. And that doesn't include admin support staff, or non-selling managers and broker owners. That's actually just agents doing transactions that have chosen to participate in this, which is really significant. And we've even had some brokerages that have had success with recruiting from, Cushman Wakefield and RE/MAX and some of the other competitors, which is also really great. Obviously, the program is piquing the interest of a lot of people in the industry. We're doing industry promotion as well. So when we launched, I don't know if any of you would have seen in REM, we had a center spread promoting our launch. As well, there was an article in that edition with Sol Soper being interviewed about his excitement around the new program. And we do have another ad coming up in October to keep an eye out for that highlights how we've grown by 50% in just 6 months since we launched. Something else that's exciting is this session. It's the first time we've had a commercial stream at any of the national sales conferences, and hopefully one of many more to come, and hopefully they'll continue to grow. And, you know, Kelly and I are always working on more stuff for everybody as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so what are we going to do next year? We've had a lot of requests to do more networking events, so we're going to be trying to pull some of that together for you. Professional development opportunities and learning. Brand development, so we've got our public relations department working really hard on getting the brand out there and working on a strategy for that. We're going to be forming an advisory group. So we had an advisory council before launch of mostly just brokers and managers, and to get their opinion on what was really needed to be part of this program. Now that it's launched and we have agents on it, we want their feedback as well, obviously. So that's going to be coming forward soon. And we're hoping to get more partnerships and preferred supplier networks and training out to the network as well. I think that's my 3 slides, but before we go on, I'll just introduce Rod to everybody. So Rod Santomassimo is here from the Massimo Group. He's the founder and president of the Massimo Group, which is North America's leading commercial real estate brokerage coaching and consulting organization. He's got a lot of experience in commercial, over 20 years, and he's also an author and has written a couple books. So I think he's got a lot to share with us today, and we're excited that we were able to secure him for all of you. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll pass it over to you, Rod.
Well, thank you very much, Jenny. And I know we've asked some questions coming in on the web that, Jenny, you're a little static on your line, but it seems to be clear. What I would like you all to do before we get started, so we got a lot of folks on the webinar. Jenny, we got your group there as well. Just type in that question box in the upper right corner of your desktop the city you are all calling in from and the number of people sharing this conference with you. So, Jenny, if you have 10, 20, 40, put that number in. And certainly I see we have Eric and Donald and Gulia, and Paul and others. Just type in where you're from and how many folks you have on the line so I can know how to best provide this presentation to everybody. Okay. So we have a whole bunch of folks, a lot of folks calling in by themselves. That's perfect. And we have some folks with 20 or more, and it goes forward from there. So thank you very much. And it seems like we have folks all over Canada, which I love to see. Now, I want to thank you for your time. Your time is extremely valuable. I get that. What we're going to do today is we're going to share with you the same approach, the same exact approach we share with our clients. And our clients are throughout North America. We coach I do believe we coach a representative or organization or office of every major commercial real estate firm throughout the U.S. and a couple in Canada as well. And so I'm going to show you exactly what we do to get them to find and win business. Now, given the time frame, of course, this is going to be extremely concise. It just has to be. There's really no other way to do this in the the next hour and 15 minutes that we have left. I will not speak for an hour and 15 minutes because, heck, that'd be boring, and it's Friday afternoon for some of you in Toronto, so let's make sure that we give you some participation. In fact, I want to incent you all to participate. So here's what we're going to do. Before we get started, we're going to have some interactive sessions. You all are going to work amongst yourselves for a few minutes. You're going to join some groups. You're working and calling in by yourself independently. You're your own group and your own group leader. That's great. I'm also going to ask for volunteers on certain situations of some role-playing we might do if we can get the phones to work correctly, because this is a learning experience. We all learn from one another. That's the key here, not just what I'm telling you. So if you can, just pick a group member and say, this is what we're going to do. Now, to incent you further, we've found incentivizing is always a nice way to get participation up. So we have a platform called the Ramp Up Challenge. It's a condensed version of our proprietary coaching platform that's web-based. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take notes. I'm going to take everyone's name who participates, whether you participate by the webinar and type in your name, or you participate through our communication when Mike opens up some lines. and I'll take everyone's name at the end. We're going to pick someone or some group of people, we'll see, to actually get a free ramp-up challenge and to put yourself in position to maximize your brokerage commission. So we're going to give you some incentives to move forward. Okay, let's get started. First and foremost, the Massimo Group. Everyone thinks because of my name being Rod Santo Massimo that's what we call it, the Massimo Group. It's really not true. If you heard some of the names we came up with, you would really laugh. But Massimo means the most, the best, the maximum. And that's really what we try to achieve, we want to achieve with you today. Because we do believe that all brokers are capable of greatness. They really are. We've seen it across the country. And it really doesn't matter what your level of success is or your level of experience, whether you're newer to the business or a seasoned veteran, very productive, you can enhance your game. We work with some of the top performers across the country, and they all have enhanced their game. So no matter where you are, you can get better. And here's the point. We're as Jenny referred to, we're not a training organization. We're a coaching and consulting organization. Training gives you some principles and tools, and hopefully you apply them, and therefore we let you go. Coaching is all about, retention. It's train versus retain. Think of it in those terms. So we want to make sure what we share with you today will give you some tools that you can impact and apply immediately and have a significant impact on your business, both today, tomorrow, months, and years from now. And before we get started, let me just give you one quick clue here. We only have an hour and 15 minutes, so it's going to go fast. It really is. And we're going to share with you a lot of things, a lot of ideas that you're going to say, wow, that's a lot. That's the fire hydrant kind of drinking that thing, right? Here's the thing. You have a paper, you have a pencil, pen, write down some good ideas. And you've got a recording going on here with both the phone and the audio and the video. So definitely you can't do it all. But implement 1, 2, 3 key ideas. And I'll tell you the best ones I think you should implement. And you will absolutely move your business forward. So what are we talking about today? Well, today it's all about the broker's continuum, right? You all are brokers. You have certain responsibilities. And overall, you must find, win, and fulfill business. And consistently do that. Because if you stop doing one of those 3 things, your pipeline, your revenue stream, will just dissolve, depreciate, go away, vanish. It's amazing when we have folks call us and say, hey, I need a coach. We say, why? And they say, I had a great first, second, third quarter. Terrific. So why do you need a coach? Because I have nothing. I have nothing in the back. I focus so much on the fulfillment and winning. I never spent the time to find the business. So today we're going to share with you some ways to find business. Today we'll focus on the phone. As the session was longer, we focus on prospect letters and other ways. But because of today's session, we'll focus on the phone, what you should be doing on the phone to get those meetings, to win those opportunities. So let's focus on the find. So the objectives right here, let's make sure you understand what a qualified prospect is, absolutely, that you understand the whole process of prospecting, especially on the phone. I want to identify the 4 keys of having a successful voicemail, what those 4 keys must be, because a true voicemail, which we do believe you should leave, some people think differently, we don't, you should absolutely leave voicemails, what those should require as well. And then if you don't get a response, I'll tell you right now a surefire way to get a response. We implement this every day. Well, not every day. We implement this regularly at the Massimo Group. I did this thing I'm about to share with you later on. I did it last night, and this morning I had a contract in my inbox because of this simple thing that I did. And I want you to all have a response just like that as well. So let's talk about prospecting versus presence. At the Massimo Group, we really, really share the importance of building a presence, because presence is really integral to you having a prospecting successful campaign. Now, presence in today's market comes in so many ways, right? We have email blasts, we have relationship meetings, we call them FDOs, we have website signage, company stuff, associations, social media, right? You have all this stuff. But that's not asking for business. It's just not. Really, those will help you ask for business, because having a presence gives you the ability to ask for the business. But today's session is not going to be about how you build a presence. That's a whole different topic. But I want you to understand that they're synergistic, they're complementary, they go hand in hand, they're very important because we call this the P factor. Think about it. Prospecting plus presence equals production. Or better yet, P plus P equals P squared. No, not 2P, as you would think mathematically, but P squared, because the impact is exponential. You know, and when I make a call and someone says, and who are you, or who are you with, which I'm sure has never happened to anyone out there today, right? That's a problem. That's a huge problem. I got an uphill climb going ahead of me. I really do. Not only to tell them why I'm calling, but justifying who I am. Very difficult. Meanwhile, though, if you create this great presence campaign, you're everywhere, right? But you never call, you never ask for the business, it really doesn't matter. I mean, yes, you may get some referrals, you may get some inquiries, but you won't truly maximize your income potential if all you do is sit back on your Twitter account and wait for people to call you. It just doesn't work that way. So prospecting is absolutely paramount. The takeaway here is prospecting by itself is tough unless you have a presence, right? Now, we all know this. The objective of every meeting is, right? The objective of every phone call is, what's the objective? It is to get a meeting. And that's it. I want you to understand that. We're not there to sell your services on a phone call. That's not what a phone call is all about. It's to provide some information, provide some value, get that commitment, and get off the phone. That's the key to prospecting correctly on the phone. Now, I'm going to focus on phone today because sharing through prospect letters and approaches and campaigns, well, albeit extremely important, is actually a little easier than making the phone call. So let's face it. A lot of you feel this way, right? Wait a minute. You want me to do what? You want me to make a phone call? You want me to make 10 phone calls a day, 20 phone calls a day? Who am I calling? It can be very problematic for some people out there. So we really want to focus on the phone call today from a fine perspective. And look, we have, and in our book, we demonstrate how top producers consistently make phone calls for prospecting. Now, they're not making cold calls, they're making warm calls, and we'll talk about that. But prospecting is key. In fact, we know this cold calling, you know, that's a dead art. That's just done. We shouldn't be making cold calls, because cold calls means you really don't know anyone at all, you know nothing about their business, and you're just hoping, you're just throwing out a hook and hoping some fish comes by and grabs it. And you don't have any bait on there. That's a cold call. That truly is. We want you to do some more warm calling. So here's what we believe is the prospecting process that certainly works for our clients across the country. Number one is you got to identify the prospect, absolutely. You got to do some research. Yeah, you got to research what's going on in their business before you give them a call. We're going to give you some tools to do this, but researching is paramount. Then, of course, you're going to create this value proposition. Why are you calling specifically? You know, and we'll talk about that as well. And then from that value proposition, you can get this initial contact. That is the phone call. That's the actual conversation. Or maybe it's a voicemail, right? And then you get to secure the meeting. It seems simple, but let's break that down a little bit, okay? First of all, identifying and researching, that really is a paramount step. It truly is. A lot of brokers we know say, hey, you know what? I don't have time to research. Just pick up the phone and call, which for some of you who are hesitant, that's not a bad approach. But to make it the most impactful phone call, to have a target list of people you're going to call every day, the certain process we suggest, and here's one potential takeaway for you, okay? Number one, the night before you write down the 5, 10, 20 people you're going to call the next day. Write them down. Put them in your database. Put them wherever. Put them in your Outlook. Whatever you're using. Hopefully it's a CRM system database, but that's a whole other topic. Identify them. Then do some research. And then make the call the next day. Now, how do we skip that second step, doing the research? It's easy. Let's do what I do. Let's identify who you're going to call the next day. Let's outsource that to someone across the world, and let's go to bed and with a big smile on our face. It really is that easy, I got to tell you. Today, whether you use, I'll give you some websites, there's a lot out there, Guru, GURU.com, Elance, ELANCE.com, MyOdesk, MYODESK.com, and many more are websites you can use to secure folks across the globe to do research for you while you're sleeping. And what I do is I give my contact, this one happens to be in India, I give him my 10 names via email every day. I go to bed comfortably, stress relief, come back the next morning, and in my inbox are 10 names with biographies, with particular links, with some general statements of their activities, just so I can make that phone call. Now, that saved me maybe 30 minutes to an hour of time every day. I'll tell you straight out, right here, right now, everyone in the phone call, no matter what level you are, you're much more valuable going to sleep and getting rest than spending a half an hour to an hour doing research when it could be done much cheaper for you. I think I pay anywhere between $3 and $5 an hour. And every day maybe I pay anywhere between $5 and $8 a day. That's a cup of coffee at Starbucks. I don't drink coffee, so I save money right there. So think about outside the box when we share these ideas with you, how you can implement them and make it part of your practice. Okay, so let's talk about these contacts. Okay, you have this target audience, whether you're leasing or selling or representing landlords or buyers or whatever you're doing, right? Tenants, it doesn't matter. You have a target list you must identify. And then from that list, you have an ideal contacts, right? Yeah, I got this audience, but I really got these ideal contacts, which would be fantastic to work with, right? And hopefully, of all these contacts, you have these qualified contacts, because that's what we're looking for. That really is what we're looking for. But here's the key thing you have to understand, because this is so important. Who you call from this list is just as important as what you say. It just is. I mean, you can have the greatest list in the world and babble on and get nothing. It's just a fact. You can have the sweetest script, the right value proposition, right? Sharing the information. Sounds great. But I'm not qualified. I'm not interested. I'm going to get the wrong person. That's a problem. This is a balance act here, folks. You got to get both. So make sure you understand this. Who you call, what you're going to say, paramount to your ability to make those calls and get those meetings. Now, depending on the size of your marketplace, whether it be Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, Ottawa, wherever you may be, right? The key is that you understand where your niche is. So hypothetically, let's say you're in a large downtown office market, so you want to target office users, maybe Class A, maybe downtown, maybe CPA firms, maybe some blend and extends. It just depends on how big your market is, so you understand who your ideal client is. So part of the velocity is paramount. And certainly, the part of the prospecting, part of getting that call, right, is to establish that face-to-face. Now, let me stop right there. I will fly through a lot of these slides because of the time we have. You're going to get this presentation, so don't worry about that too much, okay? So I'm going to also write this down, get these notes. Think of this. I'll highlight the key thoughts for you. And certainly there are key elements, criteria, characteristics of qualified prospects. And we look down this list quickly and say, you know what, yeah, it would be great if we had someone that knew you and liked you and trusted you and was willing to be guided by what you said. But we don't have that most of the time, right? In fact, most of the time, they might not even know they have a real estate need. It might be your responsibility, not job, but your responsibility to share with them why they have a real estate need, what's going on in the marketplace, what opportunities they may be missing. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so let's review this again quickly. We've got these qualified prospects. We're going to do some research. We're going to create our call list. We're ready to go. We're going to make the call, right? We're ready to go. So let's look at this from a different angle. First of all, this first call. I call it appointment. Let's say it's a call, right? Your first call. What are you going to talk about? Take this one key fact right here. And notice one key fact. Write this down. There's a real million reasons to call. There is. There's so many reasons to call. You have a listing, you're leveraging that listing. You had some prior success with a tenant, you negotiate in the building, and on the street, in the submarket, it doesn't matter. Or maybe your peer did it instead. Go ahead and leverage that success and tell them about that. Every single call. But here's a huge item I want everyone to be careful to understand. Business issues. You're calling about business issues. You're calling business owners. You're not calling people about their lease, about their building, about their tenant. You may think you are, and if you're putting that out there, in fact, you are, which is not good, you're calling because this person is a business owner, an asset owner, an investor. This is what they do. This is their vocation. Not a vacation. This is their vocation. So because of that, we highly recommend you focus on the business, of which real estate is a component, right? So let me give you an example. Hey, this is Ted, and I'm calling to see you when your lease is up, right? Okay. That's not going to get you very far, Ted. It's just not going to happen, right? As opposed to, hi, this is Mark from Royal LePage. We recently closed a deal from a neighboring tenant, and I want to share with you some success we had and why we achieved that success. Right? That's a different issue. It is. We want to talk to you specifically about how we can assist you in reducing some of your operational costs. I said nothing about real estate, nothing at all, but it's the business. Because business owners think in terms of business, not in terms of real estate. They don't. You do, as a broker, I get it. Obviously, they don't. So, key point takeaway there, I want you to focus on the business. And when you script your calls and you provide your information, it's always about the business and the impact on the business. That's going to be key. Now, if you really think I'm not going to do any research, right, I'm not even going to bother with the research, I'm just going to call, we're going to move forward, then yeah, there are some reasons you can call. Again, related success, leveraging listings, trend reports, what's going on in the marketplace, a lot of reasons you can call. Certainly financing is a key issue now for a lot of owners, investors. So if you have some information about potential financing and opportunities, talk about that. Trends in the marketplace and demographics and how it's going to impact a landlord or an owner or even a tenant, talk about that. But if you really don't want to do the research and just want to wing it and throw some things out there, then these are some valid reasons for you to call. So keep that time frame in mind and you'll make the call. Okay, so let's get going. Let's start making some calls. Ready? Here's how it's going to happen. We're going to get ready. We're going to get set. And, oh, wait a minute. I didn't talk about one thing here, didn't I? I missed something big from you all. And that is, of course, what are you going to say? So I can't ask you to make calls unless you know exactly what you're going to say. So I'm going to share with you some thoughts on what you should say and why you should say these things. First of all, let's talk about your value proposition. We talked about you crafting your value proposition. And there's a great book, author I personally know, best-selling author, New York Times. Her name is Terry Jardine. She wrote a book called Small Message, Big Impact. Great book. Before that, she wrote a book called Sales Speak, another book I really enjoyed. But in that book, she talked about that script and what you should do. So let's give credit to Terry where credit's due. And some of the components she talked about was, and we find this works, is the introduction. Why are you contacting them? Why are you contacting them? Okay, so basically, who are you? Why are you contacting them? Second thing is, why are you contacting me now? So, okay, is there a sense of urgency? Is there a need? What's the timetable? So I understand you're contacting me, but why now? Why not wait till my lease is up, for example? Okay? So what can you do to help them? That's so true. What can you do to help them? And finally, let's close. Okay? Let's close. Let's talk about the next step. Let's move forward. That's all we want to do on these phone calls. Close, get off the phone, move forward. Now, I'm sure some of you noticed right away, I've highlighted some words, right? Outlined some words. And this is why. This is why. Everyone, and I'm telling you for a fact, everyone has the same favorite radio station. It's true. No matter who you are, no matter if it's your parents or your kids or yourself, it doesn't matter what generation you are, everyone loves WIFM. Because there's no better station in the world than WIFM. There just isn't. And as I'm sure you understand, WIFM, right? We talk about profits and efficiencies and growth and time and management. It's all about what's in it for me. What's in it for me, baby. It's all that matters. So think about that. When you talk to people, if I call you and say, hey, this is Rod from Royal LePage. The reason my call is I was wondering if we can discuss your current lease opportunity, and I'd love to come by and share with you what we're doing for other firms and how I can help you. Well, that's great, but you didn't mention one thing about me. You want to come see me. You want to share with me. You want to tell me about yourself. I don't have time for you. I don't, because my station is WIFM. That's my station. So be careful when you use that approach about you. It's not going to resonate with them. I want to hear about me. I want to hear about me. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask some of you to volunteer. I'm going to ask Mike to get ready to go ahead and unmute some people. And what I want to do is, and I'll tell Mike who to reach out to, I guess, if in the question and answer box, you can just type in the name of the volunteer and maybe the person that called in for you, so I can share that with Mike, then we can move forward that way. And Jenny, I know you have a lot of people in that office, so maybe we get some volunteers. But in the question and answer box, if you'd like to volunteer, and again, volunteers get a potential prize, so that, it depends on how many people volunteer. We're going to do some role-playing right now. So go ahead and type in the question and answer box if you're willing to volunteer. Just throw out your name.
Who wants his coaching? Who wants some coaching? Who wants to be a volunteer? Team leader? Go make me pick someone. Excellent, David.
Okay, I got Don. I got David, I think, right? I got Chuck. I got David. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first start with Don. And Don, I'm not sure Donald Carnes and Barb. Here's the problem. I don't know who called in and why. So, Mike, can we unmute all the lines? Is that possible?
Yes, all lines are now unmuted.
Okay, so let's keep the background noise to a minimum, please. Don, are you out there?
Yeah.
Okay, Don, if you can. And Don, give me your last name.
Carnes.
Okay, Don. And what office you in?
Royal LePage, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon. Okay, great. Don, what do you do?
Commercial real estate.
Okay, but what? Any focus? Leasing, sales, apartments, industrial?
Investment, sales, and leasing.
Investment, sales, and leasing. Any particular product type?
Generally commercial buildings in industrial areas.
Okay, so let's go ahead. I want you to give me a call. I own a industrial building, and I've had it for a while, and you're calling me to try to convince me to have a meeting with you regarding my asset and potential sale. Is that fair?
That's fair, okay.
Okay, ring, ring. Hi, this is Rod. How can I help you?
Hi, Rod. My name is Don Carnes. I'm calling from Royal LePage, Saskatoon Commercial. How are you doing today?
Doing well, Don. What's going on?
Not too much. I'm calling I'm calling to let you know that we have some opportunities for investment in and around your area. Would this interest you?
What type of investment opportunities?
We have 1.9 acres, just kitty corner off to the end. It's got pavement on 3 sides and allows for future development and growth. And we're just wondering if we could market this to you today.
Well, I'll tell you what. I want you to send me some information.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Can I get a contact number?
Yes. It's rod@nevercallmeagain.com.
Okay.
Okay?
And the best day time number?
555-666-6666.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate it. Now, Don, thank you very much. That was great. That was perfect. The reason I'm going to be a nice guy and be a bad guy, that was great. Okay, Chuck, you out there?
I'm out here.
Chuck, what office you in?
I am with the Royal LePage binder here in the Windsor, Ontario area.
Okay, great. Chuck, what are you focused on, if anything?
Well, I'm going to say 60-40, 60-40 residential, 40% commercial. I'm looking at...
Let's focus on commercial right now. If you call me about a commercial need, what would it be?
I would have to say leasing and sales, office and retail type buildings.
Okay, Chuck, I have a 10,000 square foot 2-story building. It's about 30% vacant. Say 2 suites. I've had it for 5 years. So I want you to call me and either convince me to sell it, to list it, to lease it with you, to you to represent me. I want you to tell me something, okay?
Oh, okay.
Ring, ring. Hey, this is Rod. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Who is this?
This is Chuck Beaumont calling from Royal LePage Binder. I was actually speaking to somebody who had given me your name, and they suggested that I give you a call to introduce myself and basically let you know how I've helped them out in the past, and basically to see if there was something that I could do for you in improving your position in the market right now.
Okay. I'm sorry, Chuck. I didn't quite gather. Improving my position how?
Okay. Well, I understand that you've got a plaza. You've got about a 30% vacancy rate. My guess is you would probably like to fill that up and maximize your investment. Would that be a reasonable assumption?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, listen. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time of your precious time here on the phone. What I would like to do is get together with you at a time that would be convenient to show you how I've helped a few other of my clients in the past here, and take a look at some of the ideas that would get your place filled and get some money coming in. Is that something that sounds interesting to you?
I'll tell you what. Why don't you send me some information and we'll take a look at it, okay?
Well, let me ask you this. Are you a coffee drinker at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, what I was going to just suggest that I was going to pop by with a cup of coffee, maybe spend 10, 15 minutes and just introduce myself and maybe get a look at the plaza to see what you've got there. Once I've got a good idea of what you have there, then I might be in a better position, in matching it up with prospective tenants.
Okay, I'll tell you, I'm there every Thursday morning between 8 and 10. Why don't you bring me a strawberry banana smoothie and we can talk?
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
You got a number there that I can call just in case something comes up?
Yeah, 1-800-DON'T-CALL.
Great, got it.
Okay?
I'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, Chuck, nice job. Now, you start off a lot of I don't want to influence anyone here, but there's a lot of I in your call, and you'll hear that in the recording, which is great.
Okay.
But you wrapped it around with talking about me and my issues, and then really said, hey, look, let's make it easy for you. I'll come by, bring a cup of coffee, because I need to see your building, right, to understand its positioning and also be able to provide you the help you obviously desire. So I like that part. Very nice. Okay, David Black, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, David, I hear you fine. You're with Jenny, correct?
That's right.
Okay, David, what do you focus on, if anything?
I live in a town of 80,000 people, so I do everything.
You do everything. A town of 80,000. Okay. I'm a landowner. I've owned the land forever, and I'm never going to sell. Okay? Because I'm sure this never happens to you. Right? So I want you to convince me to meet. That's what I want you to do. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, David. Ring, ring. Hey, this is Rod. How can I help you?
This is David Black from Royal LePage in Prince George. I just wanted to talk to you. I understand you own a piece of property over in 15th Avenue.
Yes, that's true.
We've had a lot of development in the city in the last 6 months, and there's a lot of people looking for property. I understand that you want to hold on to this property, but I think that a wise person looks at all the options. I'd like to set up a meeting with you and just sort of sit down and talk to you about what kind of things are happening in town and how it might affect your property.
Are you suggesting I'm not wise?
Sorry?
Are you suggesting that I'm not wise?
No.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood you.
You must have, because I would never say something like that to a client.
Okay, David, I'll just give you a hard time, okay? I do like a couple things there, okay? Leveraging development, right? Purge that wise word, right? So, we don't do that. I recognize you've owned the property for quite some time. Most likely you're hesitant. In fact, you're reluctant to sell it in any case and form. But maybe I just want to share with you what's going in the marketplace so you have an appreciation for the values today and projected values tomorrow so you can make a more educated decision on what your holdings may be. Okay, that in itself, I don't mean the whys in there, but I'm going to offer something for them, do some free analysis, which isn't going to take you much time, and talk about with the valuation, give them an opportunity to review where they may be. That's all it's going to be. But I do like some things you said. Don't suggest I'm not wise. Okay.
Actually, what I was suggesting that you, being a wise person, would want to know these things.
Yes, there you go. Okay, there you go. So you being a prudent investor understands. There you go. Okay, Barb, you there?
Yeah.
Finally, a female. Thank goodness. Okay, Barb, where are you from?
Calgary.
Calgary. Okay, Barb from Calgary. Any particular focus?
I specialize in retail leasing and industrial leasing in the Calgary market.
Okay, great, because I got the shopping center that's 15,000 square feet, and guess what? My anchor just left. It was a small pet shop, and I need someone to fill it. Okay, so you maybe call me at the right exact time. And Barb, you might get Rod being a nice guy for once. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Barb, hey, this is Rod. How can I help you?
Easy on me just because I'm a woman.
No. I can be mean if you want, but let's go to nice one first. Hey, this is Rod. How can I help you?
Well, hello, Rod. My name is Barb Gibson. I'm with Royal LePage Commercial, and I happen to be have a couple of properties in the same locale that you're located with your shopping center, and I noticed that you just lost your anchor in the last bit here. I have a number of tenancies that I have been unable to place in your neighborhood, and it seems very appropriate that your vacancy has just come up because I may have a couple of prospects that we could sit down and help you with.
Okay, I love you to bring him by. Please let me know how we can help.
Well, firstly, what I'd like to do, I'd like to drop by your office if I could, so that we could actually have an opportunity to meet face to face, so you know a little bit more about me, and I can get to know a little bit more about you and your business and what your expectation of value is at your site. We could sit down and come up with a plan, formulate it together, and then see if any of these tenants fit. And if they don't, then I can go out to the marketplace and perhaps find you a better fit that will give you better value for what you're looking for.
Okay, tell you what, come to my office around 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Bring me a strawberry banana smoothie, and you're set. Okay?
I'll be there.
Okay, great. Now, Barb, let me ask you a question. Ready?
Yeah.
If I called you up and I was going to pitch my coaching services, for example, and I give you two options. The first one was, hey, Barb, this is Rod from the Massimo Group. I just want you to know we work with some of the top producing brokers across the country, and I'd love to share with you what we do and how we get them there. Option one, right?
Yep.
Hey, Barb, this is Rod Massimo from the Massimo Group. You know, just like yourself, we work with top producers. For example, Bob Nassel, co-founder of Mazzy Knackle, #1 producer in the city of New York, last 10 years in a row. He works with us exclusively. I'd love to share with you what we do with him and how we can help you achieve similar results. Now, which one did you like better?
I liked yours better.
No, of the two.
Well, I like the first one better.
Like the first one better, okay? It's funny because the second one gets me more business. Okay. Because I actually, because for example, you said I work with a lot of tenants, but didn't tell me what tenants you work with. Just like Chuck, I believe, said I had someone suggested I call you, but didn't mention the person's name. Right. Leverage your success. If in fact you're securing a lot of tenants for retail owners, let them know who the tenants are, right? So that's what they want to know. They want to make them, okay, I can recognize it. I see it. I sense it. I'm grabbing it. I'm coming in. That's what I want to talk about, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good job, by the way. Okay, so I got a bunch of folks. Barb, you're there. I got folks now lined up for the prize. Great. Here's the key. We're going to, because we only got cheese and crackers. We got 45 minutes left. That's really quick. Focus on them, not on you. That is paramount. And what we're going to do, and we're jumping right away, here's a new opportunity what you all think about, okay? So we have this guy named Joe Baloney, and he's a co-owner and occupies a 10,000 square foot, you can call it office building, Barb, you can call it retail, it doesn't matter. Let's say building, 10,000 square feet, Joe Baloney. He's closing the business, though, but he has other locations, but this location he's going to close his business. He also has a co-owner in the property, and that's his father, okay? Let's call him Joe Sr., call him Bob, doesn't matter to me. He's a father who co-owns the building. You got to know that. And the father would rather them not sell the building, but continue it, lease to another tenant for a variety of reasons, okay? Joe, by the way, would prefer, of course, to sell the building, reinvest the capital into expanding his business. That's what Joe wants to do. And by the way, Joe is another partner in the business, not his father, but you just need to know that as well, okay? And for those industrial folks, only if you want to throw it in, you can say there's equipment on the property. Now, we don't care if it's a lease, it's a sale, we don't care. What we want you to do is do a couple of things. We want to figure out specifically how you're going to prepare for this call. Knowing what you know, knowing these facts about Joe Baloney, how would you prepare for this call? So I need another volunteer. Someone type their name in there. Keep the phones unmuted. Someone type their name in there, please. And just tell me how you're going to prepare for this call. Come on, one volunteer. Add to my list. Going. Once. Twice. Jenny, you're going to have to pick somebody. Jenny, pick somebody. I need one person. Come on. Okay. Well, you can't go again, Chuck.
Okay.
Okay. Here's what I'm suggesting. Okay, Ken, tell me how you can prepare for the call. Knowing what you know, how you can prepare for this call.
I do a little research on his company.
Okay.
How many locations he has? Are they profitable? Is he closing this business because he's not making money or just can't manage too many locations? Is he available to do a, I'm trying to think of the right word, license out so he could continue the business there with somebody else running as a sub-license?
Okay, got it. Good thoughts. Now, there's a lot of directions we can go here. That's the key. And this is knowing what you know. So we give you a handout, and I'll tell you right there, this handout we gave you, which is the most simple thing you've ever seen, you're saying, what is this? I don't get it. It's so ridiculously simple. It's probably the most powerful tool you can use to get more business. It just is. Because when we use it, we get the business. Pure and simple. We do. This is an amazing tool. So I want you to look at your tool. It should look something like this, right? And we call the Massimo Matrix. And this really allows you to prepare for a call. And more importantly, we move in a few minutes to the meeting, win meetings. So think about, specifically, a couple of things. Number one is, who are the stakeholders? In this situation, this opportunity, Joe, his dad, you have the partner, you have other people, a lot of stakeholders in this opportunity. You got to know who they are before you have this call, or you got to know as best as you can before this call. You're not going to know them all. That's not the goal here. It's not the goal to know them all. Also, well, what's the issues, right? What issues can we lay out there that you're aware of? So when you have this call, why you have this call, I know we have a problem getting some feedback now, but it's because now you can focus on what? You can focus on completely on them. So now in between, the middle here, you can say, what's the impact of that issue to that stakeholder? 1, 2, 3. Impact, issue, stakeholder. This is how we prepare for calls. So what I'm going to do is, just because of time, and look, you're going to get some slides from me. They're going to be a lot more than what you're going to see today. You'll get a lot more slides, but I really want to move forward of you getting to know how to win these meetings, okay, and how to go forward. So if you get Joe on the phone, if Joe says, hey, this is Joe, right? So, hey, this is Joe. Now your script's going to change. Think about what Don and Chuck and Barbara and David said to me. Think about how they talked about themselves, how they talked about a very general approach. Now, Barb brought in a little better. Chuck talked about a little bit about a land opportunity and why, but people him calling. But think about how you can change this to focusing on them, right? How would you focus on Joe, knowing the little you know, to have this phone conversation? Much different conversation. Much more important. When you think about, right, the cardinal rules of a phone is, why them? Why them now, right? Why you? Why your company also? And then get off the phone. So why them? Why are you calling Joe? We're calling Joe. We've recently learned you're considering closing the business down at 123 Main Street, right? That's why we're calling. Why them now? Currently, there are ample opportunities in the market, both from a lease and sale perspective, that we feel you should be aware of, period, right? It's all about them, not about you. It's about them, right? What about you? Okay, this is where you have to show them it's not your first rodeo, that you're an expert, right? You've been experienced in this field. We work with many owner-occupants just like yourself in getting them in the best position to maximize their business operational investment. Something in those terms. Very short conversation. I love the opportunity to share with you the success we had with these individuals and the opportunity to meet. Now you're done. By the way, takeaway number 3 or 4 there, that word I just used, share, is the most underutilized word there is and one of the most powerful words you can use. You don't want to educate. You don't want to highlight. You don't want to train. You don't want to tell them. That's not the position you want to be in. That's me, someone telling me I'm unwise, right? You want to share with them. That's a huge word. Use it. Leverage it. Now, if you still don't know, we're going to get to the critical questions in a second. If you're still not sure what to talk about, I want to highlight one thing I missed, and this is why I'm bringing the slide up. Remember I told you all about business issues? And one thing I said was it's not about the lease. Someone tell me, it's amazing how many brokers throughout the country, North America, it's amazing to me how many brokers schedule their calls based on lease expiration. They do. There's 2 years ago, there's 18 months to go, there's 12 months to go. What a huge, colossal mistake. I mean, really. Because let me tell you, if my business is expanding and I got 10 years left in my lease, I need new space. I don't care how much time left in my lease. If my business is going under and I'm going from 60 people to 10 people, guess what? It doesn't matter how much time I have left in my lease. No bearing at all to me. As a business owner, I need help now. I need a solution now. So, good takeaway here we find if you can put yourself in the mindset that timing is just not a factor when it comes to a lease. It does not, because business always changes. It does. So if someone tells me, hey, Rod, I got 6 years left in my lease. I think it's a little premature. Easy response. Sir, we find most of our clients, they're making decisions based on their business, not on their lease. And you yourself can understand things change every day. So maybe it's a great time to evaluate what your business needs are versus where your lease commitments are. Okay? I didn't think of it that way. Let's get together. Things I'm telling you may sound too good to be true, but these things work. We have hundreds of clients across the country now, and they work. These scripts, they work. So I want you to think in those terms. Now, only because of the time, and I apologize for this, I want to share with you a couple of things. First of all, a call can go 5 ways. They can. The first way is they say yes. Yes, Barb, great idea. Bring me that smoothie. Come meet me on Tuesday, right? Here's what you do. First thing, get off the phone. Okay? Can't wait to see you, sir. Goodbye. Click. Okay? Maybe not that rude, but get off the phone. Don't go beyond that. Number 2 is make sure immediately you send a confirmation via Outlook or some kind of system you use or email. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to meeting with you on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. That's it. Last but not least, if it's more than 3 days till you're going to meet them, send them something of additional information in one of those days, 2 or 3. Some recent success you've had, some market information, just so, number 1, they confirm the meeting, right? Looking forward to see you on Tuesday. Confirm the meeting, give them another piece of value, and they go, yep, okay, I get that he's calling in, or she's calling, this is why. They're coming by, remind me this is why. Now, if they say no, right, do they already have a broker? If they do, I'll tell you right now, if you get that, I appreciate it, Chuck. I already got a broker working for a long time. Easy response. Great. I'm glad to see you value you understand the value of representation, but I also understand things change all the time. So would it be possible I continue periodically to send you information and be in that number 2 spot should things change? Sure, Chuck. Go ahead. You can send me information. I'm not going to change, but go ahead. Send me the information. Be in that number 2 spot. If they're not selling or leasing, in fact, they're not selling or leasing. If they continue to push, that's based on your personality. It really is. We make sure certain personalities just don't push because it's not in their DNA. So they can't push. They just can't. Get off the phone, come back with some other information later on. If you're an aggressive person, you want an answer, some justification, figure it out then, we can push. If they say send information, you got 2 choices here, folks. Either you send it without an appointment, or you don't send it. Imagine that. At the Massimo Group, someone says, hey, Rod, send me information. I say very simple. Great, we will. What do you need? First of all, what do you need to make a better decision? And we'll make sure we get you that information, number 1, just like you can do with your clients. Number 2, I'll send you the information, but let's agree right now that we're going to talk next Tuesday, 3 o'clock. I'm going to call you, and 1 of 3 things are going to happen. Number 1, you're going to say, thank you for the information. I have some additional questions. That's 1. Number 2, thanks for the information, but right now I don't have an interest, and here's why. I'm not going to sell you, but I want you to tell me why you don't have an interest. And number 3, you're going to say, Rod, come on, let's get started. Also, we all want that, right? You want that too. But I make people commit to us, and I make our clients have their clients commit to them. You want information? Great. Let's make a commitment. Because let's not play phone tag or email tag. Look, we're big boys here. Let's make a decision. That's what I want. Okay, wrong person. If it's the wrong person, either you didn't qualify or now you got to verify the right contact. It's going to happen, folks. It's absolutely going to happen. If they say, hey, I have no interest, right? Easy question, okay? Either you had a weak value proposition, maybe you did. Maybe you didn't articulate that proposition very well, and it's going to happen too. You're going to make calls and you can put a note in your database saying, wow, did I mess up? That was terrible. You will. You absolutely will. If they say they don't have an interest, ask them why, or ask them who else they know that may have an interest. Understand, sir, but I know you associate yourself with many high net worth individuals. Any of your peers have discussed their real estate holdings. You might as well ask. They can all say is no. And they say they don't have an interest, so that's it. Hey, Rod, that's not a priority to me. Okay. Can you help me understand when achieving a maximum return on your asset of up to 20% would be a priority? Well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that wasn't. I didn't say I didn't want to. Well, okay. Then when's it a priority to you? Okay. So when will Bob will say to the retailer, so let me know when filling your building up and then increasing the value of both the cash flow and the overall value of the asset be a priority to you. Now, that's a gutsy move. It is. That's an aggressive comment. Some of you will do it. Some of you say, no, it's not me, and that's okay. Now, what happens if we get no response? And I want to get to the winning the business in a second, but if we get no response, I'm sure a lot of you out there, you call, you email, you write, you meet, and nothing happens. I tell you, we do this all the time. It's not our idea. This is something, just like this webinar, I try to take one good thing out of every book I read. I read a book called Hot Prospects by Bill Good, and a lot of ideas in there. Some I didn't relate to a lot of them, but one idea I did relate to was this one. And he suggested send a letter or an email letting them know they have not responded, what they're missing, and be nice about it, and what you're going to do in the interim till you talk again, right? So here is a sample of what we do with our coaching programs. I'll give you one for you, too, as well, in regards to getting a response. In the email or letter, we put the subject line, no response. Guess what? They get opened. The no response emails get opened. Then we basically say, hey, we haven't heard from you. We assume you're not interested. We appreciate the ability to compete for your business, or are you considering our business? And we send you stuff in the interim. Now, if there's anything we can do, let me know. And same for you all. You can write the same exact email, letter, very, very professional, just saying, hey, appreciate the business. We haven't heard from you. I guess you're not interested. Maybe, I guess you're not interested in seeing how we're saving other tenants in your building up to $100,000 in rent per year. Right? Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. Call that guy up. What was that all about? I didn't pay attention to that, right? So things like that. Give them some keys, what they missed out on. Great no response piece there. Really is. We found it works for us. As a matter of fact, we're kind of detailed around here. We find that we get a response 1 out of 3 times when we send this email or letter, which, think about it, we've now captured a third of those people that have never responded. That's pretty good. I got to tell you, it's pretty good. Okay, we got about half an hour to go, so I got to make sure you understand how to win business, how to win the business. Very important here, winning the business. So, again, I'm going to skip some slides. We talked about securing meetings. We talked about effort as well. Here's the key. We don't believe in presentations. Presentations don't work. Presentations are so stagnant. You'd be amazed. Royal LePage, you may compete commercially with many firms. I can tell you right now, we work with them all, and most of them do the same basic traditional presentation. They really do. And that's a problem because boutique firms are winning those listings now. Independents are winning those listings. Smaller firms, even nationals are saying, wait, we're doing something wrong. So I want you to think about what solutions you can provide in these presentations. So let's think back to Joe. If you remember Joe Baloney, right? Who he was, what he owned. And the question is how he prepared for this first meeting. Now we have a meeting. We talked to Joe on the phone. We got through to him. Now we have prepared for this meeting. Well, the first thing we got to decipher is, of course, what we're going to do. So we had this first qualification meeting, right? You made the appointment. Barb, Chuck, you got it all, right? Now you have what we call the solutions meeting. Because you will find most of the time you don't walk into a presentation and they sign the listing agreement right there and say, okay, let's get started. I mean, that'd be great. But it doesn't really happen that often. I think it's fair to say, right? It doesn't happen that often.
Hello?
So, Jenny, you there? Yeah. Okay, hearing some background. By the way, Mike, you can go ahead and mute now if you want. We're going to get moving forward. So we have a solutions meeting, right? And then we're going to have what we call, the exploratory meeting. I'm messing up here. We have the exploratory meeting. Let's figure out the things that are going on, right? And last but not least, a solutions meeting. So let me find out all I can during this exploratory meeting about you, your business, and everything else. Let me come back to you with a solution, a customized solution to assist you in moving your business forward. So here's how it's going to work. This is how it works today. We have this discovery process, right? And then we do this diagnosis and prescription. That's part of the key elements of getting a listing. Then we organize our thoughts. And then, of course, we present those thoughts, and hopefully we get the listing and implement those thoughts. And last but not least, we evaluate how we did. Absolutely. By the way, I didn't mention it during the fine business, but you all should absolutely evaluate every call you make and take notes. What you did well, what you didn't do so well, what you do better next time. Take notes on your calls. So evaluation, too, in your presentations. So Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this diagnosis prescription organization. That's the key to winning business today. And from that aspect, account sourcing, don't worry about. Of course, I don't want you all to prescribe something. Take the Royal LePage standard template, which I'm sure you don't do, and say, this is our solution, this works. It always works cookie cutter. When you prescribe something without diagnosis, we call that malpractice. It was legal malpractice, medical malpractice, professional malpractice. That's what it is. You can't just cookie cut everything. So you have to do some diagnosis, what we call that exploratory meeting. That's so important. So let's talk about how we're going to win these assignments. Let's think back to our call planner, our Massimo matrix, right? We talked about, of course, the stakeholders and the issues and, of course, then, the impact. Now, if we, in fact, filled it out, the first stakeholder you all would have wrote was Joe Baloney, right? And one of the issues was the property was owner-occupied. He wants to vacate. He needs the cash, right? He needs to sell, lease the building. Well, one of the impacts of that issue to Joe is he's going to miss the rental income, right? And, of course, it's going to cost money to move. So that's the impact of that issue to Joe. Now, again, the more we know, the more we can fill in the matrix, quite frankly, the better we're going to be at providing a customized solution during that meeting to win the listing. Fact. So here's what I want to do. I want you all to take 60 seconds, and I want you to do a couple of things. I want you first to define 4 stakeholders. Define 4 stakeholders. Okay? You got 3, it's pretty easy. Define 4. Define at least 3 issues, and then don't worry about this right now, but we're going to outline the interests of each. I'm going to show you how to get that done. So, define stakeholders, issues, and the like. So here's the template. Go ahead, look at your template. You can make copies, but define at least 4. Amongst your group, define 4 stakeholders, define 3 issues. Take 1 minute. That's all we have time to do because I really got to get some key things across to you.
Father, son, partner, real estate.
The stakeholders have to be people. And Mike, if you could unmute us all, that'd be great.
All lines are now open.
Thank you. Okay, Chuck, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, Chuck, can you tell me, I know who 3 stakeholders are. I think we all know who the 3 stakeholders are. I want the 4th stakeholder. Who's a 4th stakeholder in this opportunity?
Well, it could be the person looking to purchase it.
Okay, could be the buyer, right?
Yep.
Could be the buyer. It's something we have to think about. Okay, so one could be the buyer. By the way, there's no wrong answer here, folks, unless you said an inanimate object or you said the broker. They're not a stakeholder, okay? That's just not where we're going here. Okay, so thanks, Chuck. Barbara, give me a stakeholder.
Give you a stakeholder?
Yep.
I actually thought it was the buyer too. I thought it would either be the buyer or a new person that's coming in to lease the property.
Okay, buyer, potentially new tenant. That could be one. Prospective tenants. Okay. Not sure how it's going to impact his decision, right? But they go to stakeholders in the asset. Jenny, anyone in your office? Give me a stakeholder. Give me 2 more stakeholders. 2 more. That big group you have.
How about a buyer of the remaining 50%, and he could buy out Joe's portion?
Okay, so we can buy the business. That's a good one. Excellent. Who else?
No, Joe's portion of the building, so the father can still retain ownership.
Okay, got it. Okay, who else? Who else could be?
How about the leasing company for the equipment that's on the property?
I love it. The leasing company for the equipment on the property. This is going to impact them. Yes, it is. I love it. Great thought. Okay, let me shift to those potential stakeholders. This is where you really got to think outside the box because the more you can think about these issues, the better chance you will have to win the listings. I'll prove it to you again and again. How about the banker? the lien holder, right? How about potentially the spouse, family members, right? So Joe's mother or Joe's father's wife may have certain issues she's dealing with, right, that she has to dig with. Believe me, partnerships are always, you guys always, and I apologize. By the way, I was born and raised in New York, and I was educated in the South, so sometimes I say you guys, sometimes I say y'all, so I tend to say folks because it just sounds better for me. But, folks, you got to understand, the more you can identify as potential stakeholders and ask questions about them, we'll get to those, the better chance you have of really providing this level of trust with your audience, your prospect, and them saying, you know what, I like you. I think you know what you're talking about. I'm going to give you my opportunity. That's what we want. So when we define these, let's throw out some here. So here's some opportunities we'll talk about. So you got Joe, you got the father, you got the rest of the family, you got Joe's partner. Okay, let's go through some of these quickly. In fact, I'm not going to go through these because you're going to get these on the PowerPoint. But just think about some of the opportunities, sale versus lease, the equipment on the building, the impact of each. Now, here's the funny thing. You're going to find that the impact, these little squares, should be different for everybody because they just are in real life. Everyone has different tax consequences, different situations financially, different partners, different objectives. They just do, right? So it's not always going to be the same. They won't be. These will be different. I'm telling you again, I'm going to reiterate this till I'm blue in the face. That little simple template you have in front of you is one of those powerful tools you can take to a meeting. Now, if you go to the first meeting, a lot of our clients take the template, say, look, I have some questions I need to ask, and I have a template I'd like to fill in. Is that okay with you? No one's ever said no. No. Someone said actually say use as a reference and ask questions from the reference. And because asking the right questions allows you to fill in these boxes. Asking the right questions allows you to fill in these boxes. And that's something I want to get to because of our time. It's so important you understand what questions these are. So again, how are we going to determine the stakeholders and the issues and the interests, right? So because we have this gap, and this gap really is this element between where you are, right, where you are as a broker. Someone mentioned realtor I heard earlier. And so where you are as a broker, you're understanding the marketplace, right, and where they are as an owner, a prospect, a landlord, a tenant. That's the gap, and that's the bridge we have to fill. Those are those boxes we talked about here in your template. That's what we have to get to. So in the next 10 minutes, I want to present to you what we call the focus approach to questioning. Focus approach. This approach was shared with us by one of our adjunct faculty members, a gentleman named Ralph Spencer. We use it both to secure coaching relationships. Our clients use it to secure tenant rep, landlord rep, investment opportunities. This works. Just have to follow the flow of focus. Sounds kind of corny, but if you follow the flow of the focus, you will, in fact, win more opportunities. So here's focus work. There's an acronym kind of questions you're going to ask. The first question we want you to ask are fact questions. How many? How do you? When? Where? What? These are fact questions. Like in a court of law, these are very closed-ended questions. How many square feet do you have? I have 10,000. When did you buy the building? I bought the building in 2003. Where did you decide to finance? I financed with ABC Mortgage. Right? Those are fact questions. And that's how you start a conversation because they're easy, ice-breaking questions. But I'm telling you, when you have the opportunity in your exploratory meeting and you start with these fact questions, one red flag here is significant. Do not ask a lot of these. Do not ask a lot of these because the more fact questions you ask, it's obvious to the prospect you're wasting my time, you didn't do your homework. You just didn't do your homework. So when it comes to fact questions, and by the way, we outline before an opportunity, okay, where are the fact questions we're going in with, right? Absolutely. Big presentation, let's talk about the fact questions. What are they? You got to know those. Going in, what are they? Then you get to the facts. The next one's going to be the opportunity, right? So opportunities, think in terms of qualitative, not quantitative. Think in terms of not feelings or issues or images, objectives. Don't think in terms of dollars, not yet. So how satisfied are you with the maintenance of the building, right? What problems do you experience with your current landlord? What prevents you from selling today? These are all opportunity questions. They provide the ability to identify pains and gains which you need to know of stakeholders and issues. Because as they're giving you your answers, either mentally or physically, you're filling this stuff in. Because now you're getting a better diagnosis of the situation. Now you're really digging in. So it is true. Ask a lot of these. Ask a lot of these, and you'll do very well. The next question, the C obviously in focus, is the consequence. Let's monetize this. Let's talk about dollarize, if you want to call it, okay? So let's get a really true monetary understanding. Dig deep. Some folks, landlords, tenants, investors, really are motivated by money. So what would be the effect for you from a tax perspective if we were to sell the asset today, right? Okay. What are the implications if we were able to if Barbara was able to lease those 3 units at a rate of $20 a square foot in relation to the value of your property? That's a monetary consequence question, right? What will be the effect of you, Mr. Tenant, if we can reduce your space by 20% and move you to a building that's charging approximately $5 a square foot less? Wow, that's a monetary question. Those are really important questions to make your prospects start thinking about, you know what, maybe doing nothing is not the solution. Remember I told you early on in finding business, part of your responsibility is to highlight to your prospects opportunities they may not be aware of. It's so true. It just is. They may not know they have a real estate need until you share with them, you know what, in this market, there's opportunities you're passing on. So those are consequence questions. Okay, understanding of need. This is more of a confirmation of things that you've heard from your 3 first questions. That's really what it is. Maybe you need to dig deeper in some things, right, to really get a clarity of it, but that's what understanding of need is. So is there another way that you see staying in the building, Joe Baloney, while still expanding your business? Understanding of need, right? How much would you make if we close this location today, and in regards to the impact it would have on your new business? That's an understanding question, right? So these are what questions you need to bring back at the tail end before you move forward. Major questions. And again, when you think of these, here's what's going to happen. You're going to start to hint a little bit about why they need you and what are the benefits of what you have to offer. Chuck's offering an opportunity for a landowner to finally get some residual value once he disposes of the asset and potentially exchange into a more safer, stable return because of his latter years of his age. That's what he's trying to hint to, okay? That is potentially where he's hinting to. So this understanding of need. And last but not least, S, I'm sure you all understand this, S is, of course, the solution. So now be careful here. The solution sounds like what we need to do is sign this listing agreement and get started. That's not a solution question. That's your solution for you. That's not a solution question for them. So be careful when you solution. Solution questions are like this. So, Joe Baloney, it sounds like what we need to do is provide for you a thorough market analysis of all lease opportunities that would fit for your new business location, while at the same time do a quantitative analysis of your current asset and its potential value on the market. Does that sound like something that would be of interest to you? You know what? That would be great. Would that help you make a more clear decision? Yep, that really would. That's a solution question. Now, it's just you pitching what you're going to do, but putting it in the form of a question. So how do you see this working, Mr. Landowner? Why don't we identify some potential investors and developers who are in the market today and get a feel for their appetite for your property and see if we can actually create a bidding war for the asset, and you make a decision if you want to sell or not. Oh, you can do that, Chuck? Yes, I can. I'm Royal LePage. Great. Let's do it. So those are solution questions. Again, you're thinking that sounds corny. I get it. I get it all the time. The stuff works. The simplest stuff in real estate really, truly works in brokerage. It does. The top producers across the country absolutely do the fundamentals better than anybody else. They just do them consistently, and they're dedicated to them. That's a fact. So you think about the solution question, those are the type of questions you want to answer while having that exploratory meeting. Okay? Think about, again, that exploratory meeting. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to have an exploratory meeting, right? And this is really, if you think about it, this is your approach to diagnosing the issues, right? Uncovering the ideal solution. Because when you leave there, you should know the solution. In fact, they know the solution. And better yet, they know that you're the only provider that can offer that solution. They get it. That's what we want. That's what Focus will do for you. That's what that Massimo Matrix, the simple tool, will allow you to leverage to win more listings. Now, we're not done yet, because it's essential that you present your solution in an appropriate way. Because if you present it in the traditional way, you will lose, no matter how prepared you are, particularly if you're in a beauty contest. If you're in a beauty contest with another company, you're going to be in trouble, because they may be doing a little better than you. I could share with you specifically that our clients in the past 2 weeks, based on what I'm about to show you, have won some major listings in the Northeast based on taking this approach where their competition took what we call the traditional approach. And again, I'm skipping some slides, but you're going to get all the slides in the recording, so don't worry about that, okay? Let's move to the traditional listing presentation. I'm sure you've all seen these. If you ever work for another firm or up against another firm, let's take any particular big top 5 firm. This is how most of the non-Massimo client brokers, that's how they present today, okay? It's based on experience and reputation, right? So first they sell their company. We are XYZ company. We're the biggest and the baddest in the market. We do XYZ. By the way, we have Joe, Bill, and Bob, and Susie, and they have 20,000 years of experience, and they've done this before. Basic traditional stuff. Let me tell you about the market, what's going on, so you have a better understanding. And finally, you know what? Based on the strength of us, you really need to list with us. You'd be unwise not to list with us, right? So let's go with that. So that is by far the traditional approach. We see that again and again and again. I'll tell you, folks, I was in Atlanta this week with a national company. They had a regional meeting. We went over the presentation, and they pitched this. I said, so does it work? I said, well, yeah, sometimes. I said, does it work in a competitive in a situation? Well, it depends on who we're competing against, right? If they're competing against the big 3, it tends to work because they're all saying the same stuff, right? Here's the difference. Here's the major difference. This is a solutions meeting. This is a meeting you have to start using to really differentiate yourself and, more importantly, win the listings. So number 1, executive summary. Hey, Mr. Landowner, what we're going to review today is the options you have in regards to potentially selling your asset, which you've held now for the last 50 years. That's why we're here, right? The situation. This property's been in your family for 1,000 years. You're not going to sell because right now you have a lease, or you have opportunity, or you're farming. There's a situation. That situation is so important for you to articulate because it shows through that Massimo Matrix, stakeholders, impact, issues. That defines the situation. You have a sister, Susie, who really wants to sell the property because she's in bad health and she can really use the proceeds in relation to paying someone off for some of her bills. Because you figured that out because you spent the time to ask those key questions, and now Joe Broker, who didn't, is coming with, hey, you want to sell your land? This is how we're going to do it, right? Completely different perspective from the client prospect. Completely. So you got to articulate that situation. Then you're going to talk about your approach. And here's the key. It's a customized approach. It's not this is the Royal LePage way we do things. Hope you like it. No. This is because now you understand your client. You understand the motivations. You understand what's driving them. Because you asked the right questions, because you did the diagnosis. And during that exploratory meeting, you were able to define a customized approach that will work best for the situation. That's the next step. Now, it is true. You have to share with them relevant experience. So Chuck's not going to tell the landowner about all the buildings he's leased in the past 10 years. I don't care. That doesn't help me. It's not about you, Chuck. It's about me, right? Chuck's going to talk about, more importantly, his relevant experience and what he's done before. This isn't his first rodeo, right? And how he's helped other clients. Maybe there's some case studies in here. We have a special way we do case studies as well, but maybe you have some case studies in there to show you've been around, you've done this before. And last but not least, you have a conclusion. The conclusion isn't, hey, sign here, make 3 copies, press hard. That's not the conclusion, right? The conclusion is what the situation is, wrapping that up, what your customized approach is, and why you're the best person for the opportunity, concluding with, here's how we would see moving forward. And then, of course, the idea is to get hired, right? That's the idea. So think about, again, the difference between the traditional approach and the custom approach. So three key things are, number one, the situation. That is huge. Talking about specifically their situation, you're getting that from the Massimo Matrix. That's how you're defining that situation, right? So again, thorough diagnosis of the client, the market, what's going on, what their issues are, right? Your approach, customized approach to their specific situation. That's what you're doing there. And last but not least, of course, right, connecting those dots, hey, you can produce results. You're going to demonstrate it that you've done this before. That's where we're going to get to. So what we've done here is, today, in the last hour and a half, we shared you some ways to go ahead and make that meeting happen, right? A different pitch, a different value proposition, and using the Massimo Matrix to think about beforehand to make that call. Here's some things I probably want to touch upon, stakeholders, issues, to get that meeting. Then we talked about how to get the meeting using the Massimo Matrix, identifying, defining what those are during the exploratory meeting, so you can come back during the solutions meeting and present a customized approach that differentiates you from your competition. It works. I'm just telling you it works because our clients tell us it works, and they're winning more listings, and as a result, they're making more money. Money's not everything, I get that, but for a lot of brokers, it's not a bad thing to have. So, with that said, I want to, first of all, Mike, if you can unmute the lines.
All lines are now open.
Okay. Jenny, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, Jenny, when I say go, I want you to say stop within 5 seconds, okay? And what I'm going to do while I say go is I'm going to take my pen, and I've seen everyone who's wrote in, and I see their names, and we got about 6, 7 names here. Chuck, Don, Jenny, David, Barb, Ken, and one other. And I'm going to move my pen back and forth. You're going to say stop, and on that name, they're going to win the ramp-up challenge, okay?
Let me give some, instead of my name.
No, I got David Black's name in there. We're good.
Okay. I don't want to win anything.
He volunteered. Okay, Jenny, when you're ready, say stop.
Okay. Stop.
Woohoo! I know I picked on you a lot, Chuck, but guess what? You won. Okay?
Come on.
So, Chuck, what I need you to do is, here you go. Chuck, just send us an email. Say, Rod, I'm Chuck from Royal LePage, and we'll set you up with our ramp-up challenge, and we'll send it out to you. Does that sound fair?
That sounds great. Where would I send it to, Rod?
Just send it to that, which you see on the screen, info@massimo-group.com. Okay?
I've got it.
Okay, and we'll take it from there, and we'll help you get your business on track. Got that?
Thank you kindly.
Okay, now for everyone else, I have 7:45, so that means it's time to end. I know you've had a long day today in your conference. I know you on the East Coast, particularly, I'm sure your loved ones and family and friends are saying, where the heck are you? But I really want to tell you I appreciate your time. It's so valuable, your time. One reason I told you to outsource your research. But if you just implement the tools, we have tools. Don't say the tools don't work. The tools don't work if you don't work the tools, right? That's how it works. So take one thing. In fact, I'm going to challenge you on this. Take 2 things. Number one, absolutely all of you need to take the Massimo Matrix, put it into action, use it. It will help you. It will help you win and find more meetings. And then figure out if you're going to put out some research somewhere, particularly. You're going to perhaps leverage your time with others in your team. You're going to create a better value proposition by using the structure we talked about, right? Think about what else you can do. You can use the word share more. You can use the non-response email more, right? I'll give you a lot of ideas here in the limited time, but really apply 2 of those, the matrix and something else. You'll see a change in your business. And with that said, Jenny, anything else you have to add?
No, I think we're good, unless anybody else has questions for you.
How do we get a copy of the slides?
I'm going to, if you want, we're going to present our presentation, make it available to people. If you're part of the commercial program, you'll automatically get an email to you. If
Okay, so Tara, I'm going to stop recording. Jennifer, Jenny will get the recording. Jenny, probably won't be till either late tonight or tomorrow by the time it processes. It's a big recording. So you all get a link to that. And then along with the audio, Jenny will put those together. And then if you have any questions, always reach out to her at info@massimogroup.com. It's been my pleasure speaking with you all today. Best to you and your business. Please may it be a very profitable end of 2012 and a great 2013. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
This concludes today's conference call. You may now